So who is going to make the biggest impact in Serie A this season? Italian football journalist Nicky Bandini says she's more excited than ever.
Juventus is still Juventus, and if you ask me for a straight prediction, I probably still think they're going to finish on top of the pile, but I think there's going to be so much more competition for them this year. I think obviously Antonio Conte at Inter is his arrival is transformative. I also think Napoli could be really competitive. In a year when Juventus have questions, you know, Juventus have made great additions as well, but new manager, a manager who's unfortunately contracted pneumonia at the start of the season, is going to miss the first 2 games, currently has a squad that's way too bloated. I think it's a really interesting picture at the top of the division this season.
Particularly looking at Juventus and some of the money that they've spent, how well do you think they've invested it compared to some of the other teams?
I think the money has been invested well. I think Matthias de Ligt is one of the most astonishing signings we've seen in Serie A for a decade more. I can't think of the last time that a young player, a teenage player who was wanted all across Europe has wound up going to Italy. It's just not something that's happened for an era, really, probably even since the 90s. He's a great investment, and likewise, Adrien Rabiot is a great investment, and I think you can make a very solid case for Aaron Ramsey being a good price despite coming with significant wages as well. The problem for Juventus is just that they haven't got rid of anyone. Maurizio Sarri said it himself. They've got 6 names at least they're going to need to cut from their Champions League list at the moment, and those names are going to include some really high-profile ones unless they actually get some players off the books.
8 seasons in a row now that they've taken that Serie A title without a Champions League to show for it. Where do you think their priority is going to lie this season?
There's no question that as a club, the directors and upwards, the Champions League is the thing they care about most, and probably that goes for a lot of their players as well. I certainly think the main man, Cristiano Ronaldo, wants to put that on his legacy to have gone to Juventus and won the Champions League there as well.
One player that is never boring, Mario Balotelli. How do you think he's going to get on in Serie A this season?
Yeah, it's a fascinating story because he's gone back to, well, not gone back to, he's gone to Brescia, which is his hometown. He's not played for Brescia before. It's a romantic story. They've just come up from Serie B. He obviously has already completely overwhelmed by support back there from people in his old hometown, but my worry is that the romance of it will fade and it won't work on a practical level. But Balotelli certainly goes there motivated again, going back home, but also with an open ambition to try and get his way into the Italy squad for the European Championships next summer. So it's definitely one to watch this season.